Alright, let me climb back on in here and get some stuff done. Okay. Alrighty. Okay. As you can see, much easier to work on things when you're inside. Working on the inside. Okay. See if I can get this flexi tripod positioned, and let's pull off some of these here. Bolts on the valve covers. And so remember, these don't have to come all the way out. They stick in the gasket. You can tell the lower side is going to be a lot more fun. So you have these extended studs coming out, and those are for putting your harness carrier in. You have little clips that slide over the shaft and hold the wires in place. Okay, so you can see that things look pretty good. Nice, clean. Lobes look like they're wearing nicely. Okay, we're gonna start on the left valve cover, which this one should be considerably easier because there is no major obstructions blocking getting to it. And then I'll still have to funk around with that exhaust manifold too, so alright. Okay, so here is the second one, and I do not like that that lobe is pitted for some reason. But the roller looks good, roller looks good, roller looks good. A little more pitting on this. Oh, yeah, look at that one. So what the fuck is that? The roller looks okay. Take a look at these rollers here. these rollers don't have the pitting. So what is that? Can you see all the white reference lines on the nuts, or the bolt heads, which means that they turn to them 90 degrees. And that one isn't a 90-degree turn. So if they're supposed to be 90-degree turns, this one here, right in the middle of the head, obviously is not. It's about like, has 22.5 more degrees to go, or so. Okay, well, let me get a rag over this side, and then I'll work on the exhaust manifolds. Well, okay, children, on today's exciting episode of putting in new head gaskets with Jeff, we got the exhaust manifold bolts all out, and because I was a smart boy and I put anti-seize on all of the stainless steel studs, nothing froze and stuck and nothing broke. So that was rather nice. And then you see here that the manifold gaskets do not show any particular signs of leakage. There might be a tiny little bit here, and these ones here, these all look fine. Then I do have two of the gaskets fell down here, and you can see them over there, and they actually look pretty good from right here. I can see them, so I am not gonna bother with climbing in there. But what we have to do now is remove all of these got to take off the power steering pump, pulley, and the harmonic balancer. Okay, so this first one we're going to pull off is the idler pulley, 13 millimeters. Okay, then I put this over on the table. Okay, top of the compression stroke. There's top dead center. Okay, kids, so to get the bolt off of the harmonic balancing wheel pulley. I had to wrap the belt around the power steering pump and position it so that as I tightened the bolt, the belt would get tighter itself, and that way the pulley wouldn't slip and I could undo the bolt. Tons of fun. Usually you have a second person to help, but in this case it's just old Uncle Jeff. Okay, let's pull that pulley out of here, and then we'll have to yank the power steering pump, but unfortunately it's getting kind of late, so I'm probably going to just wrap this and finish tomorrow. I don't have parts getting here until next week anyway, so there's not a huge rush. Alright. We're just about to remove the harmonic balancer. Okay, here is how I am getting the pulley off. I've got my wheel puller on there, and I've got a wrench to back it, and I've got the timing markers at the 10 degrees before top dead center. Okay, kids, so we got the power steering pump off there, and there are just 3 bolts. There's the one in the front and 2 to the rear, up here, and 1 down there. And there is a second hole here, but there's no hole for that in the pump. So now we're just going to undo. We can leave the cam position sensor in, that's not a problem, and just start undoing all of the bolts on the timing cover. See, we have the harmonic balancer out, and there's a lot of sludge built up on there. Not sure why that is. And over on this side here, everything is clear, and all I gotta do is just unplug the cam position sensor, which is it's one of these wires down here somewhere. I'll find that though. There. Okay, so it's just a bunch of bolts to take off. You don't need to stick around for that. Why don't you go grab yourself a cup of coffee and a donut or something while I do this, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so now we have the power steering pump is off, and we have taken all the bolts out of the timing cover, that messy looking thing, and now we need to climb underneath, and I think there's like a couple of bolts on the oil pan that are going into the timing cover too, and I think they're 10 millimeters. So let me grab that. If you look up there, you can see 4 bolts. And did I already loosen these? Okay, you know what? I think those are bigger than 10 mil. They're 13. So let me hop back up there in a second, and I will grab those. So anyway, I don't need to record that. It's just unscrewing 4 bolts, and then we will break loose the timing cover and remove it. And while I'm here, let me pull out the cam position sensor. Right there. If I can get up there. That's one of these stupid things. I need to get a couple of hands on it. And it also might have a little screw holding it in, so no, the cam position sensor is part of the timing cover, so all I gotta do is just unplug it, if I can get to it. Okay, so there, I've got the cable unplugged, so I can pull the timing cover and then bring it up top and do the work from there. And just like that. So just so you know, there is down here, we've got this crank position tool, and when you use that, it slips on the keyway, and then there's a pin in the block here that slot goes into, and that holds the crank in position. And if it's in that position, you know that none of your valves will be damaged. Okay, so we gotta crack these loose from the middle out. But I'm going to keep some torque on them. So I'm just going to keep some torque on there so that it won't possibly do any damage to the head. Try to keep it flat. Okay, last two here. So just so you know, there is down here, we've got this crank position tool, and when you use that, it slips on the keyway, and then there's a pin in the block here that that slot goes into, and that holds the crank in position. And if it's in that position, you know that none of your valves will be damaged. Let's undo the timing chain tensioner. Okay. Let's pull this baby up. That's odd. It should not have really had any water in it, as it has been blown out. Anyway. Okay, so this is the 4-layer Felpro gasket. The round gunk you see on the gasket is from Bar's leak, gasket sealer, radiator stop leak, and it actually did a pretty good job of stopping the leaks while we were on the road for 6,000 miles. I'm wiping out the spillage from the head into all the cylinders, and then I'm going to spray it with some PB Blaster penetrating oil just to get rid of the water in the cylinders and rings. Okay, so is this what a 25 or 30,000 mile rebuild should look like? It's got the you can see the hone marks, and then on the side you can see where it gets a little smoother. But yeah. So I don't really see anything here that indicates gasket failure on this side. But if you look at the gasket, so the top side of it looks like everything is sealed. And if you look at the bottom side of it, you can kind of see where it looks like it may have been leaking a little bit in between passages, but I'm not really seeing an indicator that it was going into the cylinders. Okay, and haven't looked at the head yet. Well, there's the bottom of the head. Valves, everything looks good there. That's all nice, clean burning. Yeah, it's just kind of making me wonder if these are reused pistons or not. Anyway, all right. Okay, so we are just taking off the timing chain tensioner. 2 screws for that. Okay, and then this one here is going to snap as soon as I loosen it up. It's a couple of 8mm bolts. Okay. And I'm going to get a couple of new chain guides because this one here is, the other one was showing some wear, and I'm sure that this one here will too. There's one. There's 2. So just so you know, there is down here, we've got this crank position tool, and when you use that, it slips on the keyway, and then there's a pin in the block here that that slot goes into, and that holds the crank in position. And if it's in that position, you know that none of your valves will be damaged. So let's pull this out. Okay. Got the timing gear. Put the holder back. And there we go. Now let me degrease my gloves here real quick. Okay, so this gear will go on just one way. You see here is the timing mark there. See that timing mark at the bottom, and over here you see the corresponding slot on the tooth of the gear on the cam. And so what you do, and it makes it almost completely knucklehead proof, is you've got these two marks here. Let's see if we hold those two marks like that. And if you look at the bottom, that is the link. So this link goes on the tooth at the timing gear where the small crank gear is, and then up here these two go between the two. The timing mark goes in between the two, just like that. So it really makes it very simple and dummy proof to put the cams in that position and the crank in its position, and then you can put them on without any fear of goofing up. And we'll just take a quick look at here. That's the rear chain guide, and it looks pretty good. It's got you can kind of see it's got a slot in there, and it's got a tiny bit of wear. About 25 or 30,000 miles worth of wear. And this side here, this is the tensioner side, and I might just go ahead and replace these tensioners or chain guides. It's just a very simple piece of insurance. Okay, so let's start pulling the heads off of this. Okay, so start in the middle and work back. But first, let's soak up the oil in here. And I already stuck a tube on the vacuum cleaner down into the water jacket. You can stick it down through here and in back and suck out the water in the block. And that way you don't have a boatload of coolant in the heads. Well, hopefully, rushing down. There's still going to be coolant in the heads, but I'm hoping that most of it is going to just rush out the sides and down over the exhaust manifolds. So remember, the heads are pretty much identical. Just turn them around. Of course, now that's on the bare casting. These ones here, there's definitely a right and a left. Okay, so we're going to do it in 2 steps. We're not going to loosen it all the way. I'm going to put about 20 or 30 pounds of torque on it. Okay. Okay, so you don't need to watch the entire thing. I'll stop you here, and then I'll bring you back when I pull the head. Okay, so we just have a few seconds of time left to finish this. So what we need to do is get some tape here. Of course, it's not going to work with me while I'm wearing gloves, so I guess I'm just going to have to get oily. Stupid tape. Okay. Okay. So there's 3 bolts that will not come out. So you can kind of feel where they start to grip in the head. So you pull them out, and then you put some tape on them. To hopefully hold them up. And then you can hold the head. So you just kind of, you can lift the bolt up and just kind of feel as you're lifting it where the screw begins to grip on the cast iron. Okay, just 1 to go. So we're ready to go. Let's lift her on in. Plenty of places back here to grip. Okay. Stupid head gasket. It's sticky. Pretty sure that this is the gasket that was messed up. I'll take a look at that here in a couple of minutes. But first, I want to clean out the cylinders here. So I did vacuum out the block, but apparently, try as you may, it's still going to get you. You know, I'm just not 100% sure if they rebuilt this engine. See that, I'm pretty black cylinders. Some unusual marks in them. And then so the heads look great. That's what I'm wondering about. You know, the heads are burning beautifully. Nice clean valves and everything. Exhaust paths are all nice. And it looks like now here's something I'm not really very thrilled with. If you look at these cam lobes, you can see something that looks like pitting. So we'll take a look at that later. I was looking at the air intake and noticed that the hole for the intake is smaller than the opening of the throttle body. So I'm going to change that. I'm looking at the size of the air cleaner and to see if there's the air cleaner filter element here. So there's about the size of the air coming through. Fits like that. But so I'm looking at the pipe coming into it, which the pipe is situated up here in the grill, and it looks to be smaller than the pipe on the throttle body, the size of the throttle body. It looks a little bit smaller. So I am going to remove this. If you look in here, you can see these 4 tabs in there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is what the filter rests up against. So what I'm thinking is I can cut around here and put a larger pipe that will go through there and get more air coming into the air cleaner. Anything to improve power, I tell you, because this thing is just so underpowered as it is. Okay, so we have the heads off, and I'm just kind of surprised at how black the pistons are. That's PB Blaster oil that I have soaking in there. Got to spread it down the other side here too in a second. But yeah, I know it's just kind of odd. So I can see that there was coolant going between. It doesn't look like it infiltrated the cylinders, but it still looks like it was going between the stupid mosquito. The head gasket, water passages. And this here, so I've got rust here, which that could indicate that there was a little bit of water going through there, because I was getting water leaking down the back of the engine. So you see over here again on this side. So that's kind of an odd one there, that brown out of all the carbon in there. Which now it's supposed to be a brand new rebuilt engine, and I'm almost kind of wondering if they actually did what they said they were going to do. And then here's the head here. Kind of tight fit down there. Okay. So these here 3 bolts you have to tape up. See, they still come down just, well, I don't know if they were sticking down or not, but you have to tape them up and then lift the head out. So anyway, but you know, I'm just kind of looking at these rollers, and you can see how some of them have a little wear in them. So I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I'm curious to see if. And then there's also quite a bit of carbon buildup in the exhaust. Like once upon a time, it was on a. It is a rebuild, so once upon a time it was on another vehicle that was in really poor running condition. But come over here and see these valves are all in good shape, running very clean. You know, that's the way that I had the engine, was to run nice and clean. And then you can see that no, I mean, yeah, you can just see in there that the spark plugs have been tapped out, and then new helicoils, threads put in there. That was one of the weak points with these heads, is the spark plugs would blow out from the head and break the ignition coil, and then you would have a thumping sound. So I'm just trying to spot signs of water leakage in here. So yeah, it's dark, I can't tell. Okay, but that's it. So we got the engine out, and there's the other head over there. There's the old truck camper, wahoo. So let me start putting things away. All right. And this is how I evacuate water out of the block. I have a piece of quarter-inch PEX refrigerant line, and then just stick it on down into the block. Okay, and then it just goes over into that little shop vac there. All right. And here is a picture of the engine before I started taking everything apart to get down to the head gaskets. And there is with the intake manifold and valve covers removed. Here I'm looking at a cam lobe, and I don't like the line I see on there. And some of the pistons had carbon buildup, and you can also see in this gasket that there may have been water getting through the seal of the gasket. See the small opening for the air cleaner compared to the throttle body. I don't like that. I want to open that up and make a larger one too. And here is Poppy and Archie, and they are saying thanks for watching our dad's videos. Hope you learned something from them, and please do like, share, comment, subscribe. We'll see you on the next video, and there are several related videos to this if you want more information.